These days, most news concerning countries like Syria, Iraq, Turkey, and Armenia is distressing, to say the least. Not today. Young people from all those nations and North America got together in southern Turkey last year for a groundbreaking event that will move us all. Dr. Johannes Reimer is a missions professor from Germany who's giving leadership to something new from the World Evangelical Alliance. It's a joy to meet the director of the Peace and Reconciliation Network. Dr. Reimer, you're part of a movement.
Yes, and not only I'm a part of the movement, I'm in a transformational movement. We hope the world is going to be changed.
Wow, so many countries, and even reading about what's happening, I'm behind. More countries. You're in Ukraine, you're in the Philippines. This is growing rapidly.
Yes.
Tell us what BL4P is all about.
Well, it is a movement bringing young people into a conversation in which memories are healed. See, for instance, Muslims, they have an idea who Christians are, and that idea is shaped by Hollywood. It's not shaped by the church. And if it's shaped by the church, then that's the past of the church. It is a cruel past. It's people being killed,
Yes.
also by Christians. And very often the same perceptions are built in the Western world. So Christians think about Muslims similar. So we appeal to dignity rather than to sin. And so we say, let's remember our sinful history. Let's formalize, bring it into words, talk about it, and then forgive each other. And that's what the young people do in Turkey. They do it, by the way, right now. Right now we have the next peace camp running.
This is like a week long, these camps.
It's a week long, and at the moment we have 70 Muslim and about 30 Christian young people in a camp situation, and then remembering their history, the Christian history, the Muslim history, forgiving each other, hugging each other, dancing with one another.
It did bring tears to watch this camp that I referred to from August of 2016. Yes. I think about 75 young people.
Right.
The standing in proxy for their nation, for anyone of their race who exhibited racism, and then the hugging and the forgiveness, and they're actually learning how to resolve conflicts peacefully.
That's right.
Can we get them to the higher ups? The chutzpah and the courage, the risk taking at this level needs to migrate to leadership of nations.
And it all started in the end of the last century in South Africa. With the end of apartheid, peace and reconciliation processes in South Africa were fueled by the evangelicals and by the ecumenic churches. And so we created what we call healing of memories concept. It was brought to Europe. In Romania, an institute was built to bring this into the conflict situations. And the biggest success story is Rwanda. It's a healing a whole nation. Yeah. And what you've seen in the video, what the young people doing there, this is what's happening in Rwanda everywhere. Now,
with people in prison.
With people
reconciling with the victims of the family members of their victims, actually.
And we're creating peace camps in Colombia, for instance, now, where offenders and victims meet, and they experience the same story because you name issues now. You know, we have all offended one another. And so we name the story, we remember the story. The same is going on here, I hope, in Canada with the with the First Nation people and the migrants and the so-called Canadians now. And we have the same stories in France, we have the same stories in Germany, in Russia with 185 First Nations under a Russian rule. And so reconciling people with one another in the power of the gospel.
And this is a global movement.
It's a global movement. We are in 129 nations. We have about 650 million believers belonging to the World Evangelical Alliance movement. And it's exciting. It's an exciting new venture.
Wow. You are going across Canada with what purpose right now?
Our hope is that in every nation of the world, we build a peace and reconciliation movement, a national movement, and bringing into schools and kindergartens, churches, and even into societal organizations, secular societal organizations, a culture of peace, a culture of reconciliation, a culture which lifts up dignity instead of always talking about things which didn't work out properly. Sin is sin. We have to name sin as sin is. But there is much more than sin. There is a dignity of a human being. God created us to be in His image. So, and recovering that image, that's what's gospel all about.
Wow, did we ever need to know that this is going on? When we come back, I'd like you to tell us a little bit about the passion that drives you, because it's been well earned. And we will be back with Dr. Johannes Reimer. Stay tuned.